What's good, everybody? I just got like a little word for somebody, simply because like as I was driving from the gym, I was just thinking about how like God is calling me to leadership positions. And as I'm driving, like I was just having a conversation with myself, and I was like, I really been running away from leadership positions simply because I would always say, oh, it's too much responsibility. And as I was thinking that and saying it to myself, like in my head, I'm just like, is that really how I feel? Or is that my dad talking? Because my dad used to be a manager, and he's not a manager anymore. And he has the tools. He's equipped to be a manager over any store he goes and work for, but he says too much responsibility. And as I was talking to myself, I was like, is that really how I feel? Or is that my dad talking? Simply because I know God has called me into leadership roles, and I know some of you, God is calling you into leadership roles. And when I say, and as I'm saying that, I was like, man, God has showed me some great things, and all the things that God have shown me, I can't embody that. I can't do any great things if I'm not embodying or stepping into the roles that God is calling me into. For me to walk out the calling, or for you to walk out what God has placed in you to walk out, some of you are going to have to step into leadership roles. It's as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. And it even goes as far as this. No matter if God has called you to something, you can't run from it. You can try all day, but I promise you, as long as you try to run from what God has called you to, you're going to see why. Oh, no, I'm not running no more. I'm not running anymore. I can't do this. Because if God called you, you can't run from what God has called you to. And don't be fooled by what it look like. Yeah, your life might not look like what God has showed you, but it's not gonna look like what he showed you, because you gotta go through what you gotta go through just to get to what he showed you. You gotta go through some mud, you gotta go through some rain, you might have to go through some storms, and what you're going through might not look like the end result. But don't be fooled by what it looked like. Because what God showed you and what he called you to, everything you going through is literally building you for what he showed you. And some of you, God are calling to leadership roles. And the thing is, you saying it's too much responsibility. Is that really how you feel? And if what God showed you, if he showed you that, how are you going to maintain the calling on your life if you're not willing to take on responsibilities that you don't want to take on? You might not like it. You might not love it all the time, but what God is calling you to, you no longer can run from. What God is calling you to is yours. What God is calling you to, you're going to have to go through some things, and everything God is calling you to, what you going through right now ain't going to look like the promise, but it's a piece of the puzzle. So like I said, God is calling a lot of you into leadership roles, but you saying, oh, that's too much responsibility. But God has placed a calling on your life for where you're going to have to take on responsibility. You're going to have to step into leadership roles. You're going to have to up the ante and do the things that you don't like to do. Because that's what that is what God is calling you to. But that's all I got to say for somebody. Y'all have a great and blessed night. And if God is calling you, oh, it ain't no running from it. You can think you running, but you gonna walk out what he called you to. If he called you, ain't no running. And some of y'all, God is called to leadership roles. Let's get it. Let's go. Peace out.